New homes for us often come at the expense of living space for wildlife. But from the new year, a new law in England means developers will have to make sure their products deliver 10% more nature. It's called biodiversity net gain.
We've got a nature pond beside us. It used to be an old fishing lake, but we've enhanced it, and now it's got lots of birds coming to visit it every day.
I can actually see that. You know, we've had swans there. I can see more hens. We've had cormorants drying out their wings.
Yeah, I mean it's a really busy place for birds now, as well as people.
Here in Aylesbury, a new housing estate is being shown as an example of biodiverse building in action. It'll have 2,100 houses and provide more natural habitat than the farmed fields they are built on. It's delivered here with a mixture of dedicated nature zones and tweaks to the newly built environment.
We've got the house martin nesting cups, which are on the front end of our building here.
Yeah,
We've got swift nesting bricks, which go into the fabric of the building, same size as a brick, and it fits in really neatly. We've also installed hedgehog highways, which are simple little holes underneath fences in people's back gardens, giving hedgehogs a much wider expanse of garden to roam in. Well, I think what we're going to see is a lot more developments like this in the future. New builds are really going to have to start to incorporate some of these benefits for wildlife into their fabric.
So just to recap, here's how this biodiversity net gain works. You assess the natural value of the land before you build the estate, say like a farmer's field. And then you put your houses in, no architecture awards here, and you try and improve the natural value within that footprint. You might, for instance, put in a pond or a wildflower area. But you might find you can't do enough for nature actually within the new estate itself, and then you are allowed to offset nature by creating, say, a woodland or a wildflower meadow elsewhere. Overall, the total nature has to be enhanced by at least 10%.
That's what will happen to this rather barren-looking field a few miles from Milton Keynes. In a few years, with money from developers, it should resemble this natural nirvana.
So at the moment we've just drilled the last barley crop.
It will grow to become the final harvest before this 38 hectares is transformed.
And these fields are going to be species-rich meadows, full, bursting with life, bursting with beautiful wildflowers, buzzing with insects. We're going to have a big area of scrub planting, which sounds unusual, but it's also fantastic for wildlife.
So you're painting a picture of, I don't know, something you'd want to skip through.
Absolutely.
And nature loves it as well.
So much skipping going on, yeah.
So this is where the new habitat will be created, but this place hasn't been chosen at random. It links a newly planted woodland over there with an ancient woodland behind me, adding up to a really nice big habitat. How well policed will schemes like this be, well enforced, or will it be just, you know, plant a few saplings, pocket the money and walk away?
We undertake surveys annually to make sure that what we've promised on the ground is actually happening, and then we report back to the local planning authorities to tell them how it's going. And if things aren't quite going to plan, we can adjust what we do on the land to make sure that all of those commitments that we've made on behalf of a developer actually happen.
Conservation groups are giving biodiversity net gain a cautious welcome. They like the idea, but fear it lacks the human and financial resources to deliver it effectively, especially in local authority planning departments.
Local authorities will be responsible overall for the overall outcomes of biodiversity net gain delivered within their local authority and their contribution towards government goals and targets. So they ultimately hold a great deal of responsibility, and so it's completely essential that they have the resources to be able to do their job, the resources and the mechanisms, credible monitoring and enforcement mechanisms to be able to do their job. And our real worry is that that they don't have the resources to do those things at the moment.
Will this help to protect and preferably enhance nature?
So it gets us some way towards our goals, but with the current institutional setup that we have right now, I do not believe it will achieve a net gain in biodiversity, and it requires some serious reforms and improvements to deliver on that promise.
It's one tool in the toolbox for nature recovery in the country. Let's not pretend it's going to fix all of our problems, but it's one really positive tool in the toolbox.
With both the government and the Labour Party promising hundreds of thousands of new homes, forging development and wildlife to be allies, not enemies, will be key to a nature recovery. Tom Heap, Sky News.